Sylvester Guard is one of San Francisco's prolific street artists. He showed promise as an artist at a very early age. He had to abandon his art as a teen under constant pressure to join a street gang. His parents, wanting a better life for him, encouraged him to leave the neighborhood and strike out on his own. 20 years later, 8 of them spent homeless, he eventually evolved into an artist who became grounded in his gift. Sylvester's contribution to society is evidenced by the yellow brick road, his signature painted trash cans around the Tenderloin, and his project Backlog. Let's listen to Sylvester discuss his art and what inspires him.
Okay, I'm Sylvester Guard. I'm a community artist as well as a housing specialist, outreach worker, something like that. I live in San Francisco, the Tenderloin, and I've been painting garbage cans recently and doing a lot of art around the city.
When you were a kid, what did you draw with?
Pretty much I was using anything I get my hands on. One time when I broke my Etch-a-Sketch, I used the shading from that. I was one of those problem kids that just drew and painted on everything. My mom, she would compliment me, but at the same time, you know, she'd be ready to spank the hell out of me. So it was like...
Safe Passage, originally known as the Yellow Brick Road, provides a safe environment for the 3,500 children who must navigate their way to and from their school and other activities. In 2008, a group of mothers, volunteers, and service providers under the wing of the Tenderloin Community Benefit District came together to organize a safe path from the children's homes to school. In addition to the painted yellow bricks, warning signs, escorts, and crossing guards, the sidewalks and gutters are swept and cleared of debris before the children pass.
Well, this is the site where the yellow brick road from the Safe Passage was at. I'm the artist that put that together. I'm number 2. The original artist was John Jonas, but he passed away, so I picked up the torch, and I'm pretty happy that I was able to be part of this. It was an honor to do this. So basically, my technique was using some stencils, putting them on the ground, and painting through the stencils. Basically, the Safe Passage is a road that goes to the Tenderloin. It was the yellow brick road, and it's a road that takes these kids right here coming up. And this is one of the main roads that goes to the Tenderloin for the kids. We have the highest density of children in San Francisco right here. So I was pretty honored to be chosen to do this. As a youth that came up in San Francisco, I wasn't a kid, but I was a teenager. I know all the pitfalls that's out here. So for me to choose that, it was really, I have a lot of connections to that emotionally. And it's one of my greatest claims to fame to date.
What kind of art were you creating before you started painting garbage cans in the Tenderloin?
Before garbage cans, I did murals, t-shirts, pretty much paint anything I get my hands on. I actually even painted a car hood, which sold, which is awesome. I've been painting skateboards recently, teaching kids how to ride them.
Sylvester, when did you discover that you were an artist?
I've actually been painting all my life, which is like something I picked up, I guess, from my family members. I won my first art contest at 6, got my first mural at 12, and then I stopped because I got interested in other things, girls, clothes. Out of everything I've always had, that was the thing I could solidly say that I own, my art. That's something that's mine that no one can take away.
Have you had any formal training in art, or are you pretty much self-taught?
I'm pretty much self-taught, but I went to the Art Institute, and you know, it was really a learning experience, because what I thought I knew, I really didn't, because a lot of things I did research. This was before the internet, so I actually had to read books. I actually had to look up Bob Ross, The Joy of Painting, to learn how to do a tree, you know, comic books and all kind of stuff.
Your current art project is painting garbage cans in the Tenderloin, isn't it?
Yeah, the garbage cans and the Tenderloin. That's been a work in the making. It's one of the toughest projects I have to say I've had to do. But it's one of the most also rewarding ones. The garbage cans is tough because the Tenderloin, as we know it, is hope, but also homelessness. There's a huge homeless population out here. So when I'm out there painting, they're looking for cans or whatever bottles they can find. And sometimes my painting getting in the way of that. Same time, it's like, well, you're in the way of me and I'm in the way of you. But they're good people, and oftentimes or not, we respect each other.
Okay, what are we looking at here?
Okay, this is one of my utility boxes that I drew up in my apartment. And then from there, I put it in Photoshop and I cleaned it up. It's representative of the Native American community we have down here. I wanted to include them in some of the public art pieces that I drew and put together. I also did a piece representative of the Thai community down here, the Black community, and the gay community. I did like a piece for everybody. So I wanted to make my art inclusive of the community of the Tenderloin.
Explain some of what that is.
Well, this right here is a totem pole. It's kind of like a cartoonage of one. You have the eagle, which I turned into a pigeon. You have the shaman, which I turned into a guy on the street. And then you have this character, which is a bear. It's actually a bear. I wanted to include the bear because it's California. You have a guy on the street. And you have a pigeon, which is like, I see as a Tenderloin. But it's also colorful too, so, it's like a colorful community, colorful art.
Are you also a graffiti artist?
I'm a former graffiti artist, actually. That's why I really can't be too mad, because I used to do the same thing. And so it's such a weird diaspora that me, a former graffiti artist, talking to a young graffiti artist, they see me as some old guy now, when back in the day I used to do the same thing to old guys who was getting paid to do work. Like, screw you, guy, you're getting paid to do this. And I had a kid tell me that the other day, and it's like, are you serious?
Now, when I looked on your Facebook account, I saw that you have some art that you're projecting on the side of the walls of buildings. Can you talk a little bit about that? How did that come about, and how are you doing that? The
art on the side of the walls, that was my solo show. I had me a solo show recently, and it went over pretty well. Like, I had creative control of that, and that's a first because I don't have much creative control of anything. So I did a rope skateboard, I did like a pinup girl, and a lot of art in the Tenderloin that I do is often community oriented. So it was like a time for me to wild out, and it's awesome when people like that.
How long did that last?
It lasted for a month. I shared the opposite window with Michael Covington. So it was a pretty good show. I had fun, but it's back to business now. That was business too, but it's like really back to business.
Mm-hmm. And do you have any ideas about what you're going to do after the garbage cans?
Yeah, after the garbage cans, I have a bunch of commissions, but I just recently got drafted to do the murals for TNDC.
What is that?
Tenderloin Neighborhood Development. And I also got drafted to do a wall for Clarion Alley. Clarion Alley, historic alley for San Francisco community artists. It's an admission. It's really famous. People come from around the world to paint there. Yeah, I'm going to be going in there under Hospitality House, hopefully.
Now, you're also working with the Central City SRO Collaborative. Can you talk a little about what you do there?
I'm the artist there. I'm pretty much like at their beck and call. If they need anything from me, I try to do the best I can because I'm not a printer. They would like to see way more from me, and I would like to really do way more for them. They're really supportive, and I love the hell out of everybody there. Everybody there is unique in their own way. And so is the clientele. But yeah, I'm basically the banner, window, t-shirt guy.
I've seen your work there. Right?
Yeah, like I do a little of everything, and they like usually give me creative control as much as they can without me throwing a knife or brass knuckles on it or whatever.
And can you tell us a little bit about yourself? So have you been homeless?
Yeah, I was homeless for 8 years of my life. I left home at 14, and found myself in San Francisco. At first it was adventuristic until like the winter kicked in, until I realized I needed to eat, and I could not really get with the older crowd, because they had problems of their own, especially dealing with a 14-year-old kid. So I did not know about places like Larkin. So I spent like 2 years in MSC South and all those places at 14.
What is that place?
Multi-service center South is kind of like the hardcore area for the homeless people. And then I found out about Hospitality House, and I was around kids my own age. I went to jail at 18, and I stayed in there for 3 years. So after I went to all these shelters and I finally got me a job and I finally got on my feet, I go to jail and lose everything. So I'm back out there again. And yeah, it was, the second time was pretty tough because, I worked my way out of it. And not only did I work my way out of it, but now I have a jail record. So that played a big part in what type of jobs I could get compared to what type of jobs I used to work. I used to work as a legal assistant. I used to be a security officer on the side. All those jobs were null and void. The guard card, I might as well pick my teeth with that.
And
So,
you said about going back to Hospitality House. So
I was part of the youth program. They have the community art studio there. A lot of them didn't even know how to draw, because even back then, when I was in the community art studio, I was just in there really just talking to people, and they didn't really know I could draw until 7 years ago. And I was like, yeah, I've been able to draw and tattoo and all this stuff all these years.
do you want to talk about the glasses?
The glasses? Yeah, my friend and me, Chris, are working on these right now. These glasses are pretty awesome because I'm not really much of a techie guy, so I'm more of the hands-on type guy. But we've been putting these together, and hopefully they make a class at the tech shop out about them. Like that's what it's about. It's about learning something and teaching somebody else about it. So I'm stoked on these. Hopefully these will be a thing by New Year. When I was 14, what led me to being homeless was the neighborhood I was in was really rough. I was in West Oakland at that time before it became in style again. And they had this gang life. They would try to recruit you super early. And it led to like a downward spiral, like it wasn't a good neighborhood for me at all,
And so would you say you ran away from that?
I pretty much got forced to run away by, my parents. It's like, look, I'd rather see you out there than homeless. Like, dude, you got to come up with something, You're smart, you'll figure something out. Here you go, $50, kid.
Well, so what's next for Sylvester?
What's next? Hopefully I could keep up with this art thing and I could make it really a thing. It's the thing that I have this mind. It's like I said, I lost my housing, I lost a lot of jobs, I lost a lot of things, but my art has always been mine. It's working for me. It's like, wow, I can do this. I really can do this. It's something tangible now. It depends on how much work I put into it. It's a shame that I waited till I'm almost 40 to start doing it, but better late than never.
Exactly.
Some people never decide to try to live their dreams or whatever, and I'm kind of doing it, and I'm proud of myself and the people around me.
And people appreciate what you're doing as well.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
what about your inspiration? Do you go to a particular place that you draw from for your inspiration for your artwork?
Actually, yeah, I do. I was thinking about that the other day. My uncle, he was like a big inspiration to me. He was not the most wholesome guy, but he introduced me to comic books. He introduced me to black light paint. I live in the Tenderloin, and this is it's got a bad rap. It's got really a bad rap, but it's not a bad place. Anybody could be anybody they want to here. It doesn't matter if you're rich or not, it's like, this is home for everybody. And, as sometimes things can be rough, but, it's like, where else can you be who you are? You can't go anywhere else in the world and be a drag queen, unicorn, unicyclist and be accepted. You know, so it's like, let's keep the culture what it is and let's respect it and stop trying to change things out here and let it be what it is.
Any thoughts on the encampments on the sidewalk?
The encampments on the sidewalk, I'm up and down on those things right there. Sometimes it's like, oh, there's so many homeless people. But at the same time, it's like, oh, you were a homeless guy yourself. It's like, oh, it's so stinky. It's like, but oh, you're not helping this person. I often check myself about that. You know, it's like those people, we're often trying to tell them we need to move them somewhere. We need to get them out off the street. We need to get them out the system. It's like, well, where are we gonna put them? What are we gonna do with them? You know, they're at where they need to be at. They're at a crossroads where they could go any way they want to. And it's not for us to move them. It's up for them to get up and want to move themselves. So let's stop trying to move these people. Let's stop trying to challenge things that's been the way they are forever. This is the Tenderloin. And this is also the place where modern dance and history's been made. It's always gonna have its ups and downs, and it's gonna have its renaissances every now and then.
Thanks very much.
All right, no problem. Yeah, this is a luggage store, but we're in a hospitality house, art studio on 6th and Market. We're down in the basement where they store all the artwork at. This is a very magical place.
So what are you holding?
This is one of my skateboards. I did a show this year based on my art. This is one of my skateboards. This is one of the ones that's left over. I chose this design right here, Mystique, because she's one of my favorite ex-ladies. I have a thing for the ex-ladies, you know. I really like her. I chose to do her because she changes shapes a lot, you know. Like we all go through identities and phases in life. So this is kind of like one of my favorite characters because I'm always reinventing myself. Boom, Mystique.
And you've got another one there?
Yeah, I have a few more. I have Krang right here from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is one of the ones left over. I'm surprised because a lot of people wanted this one, but I guess it was a thing about like they didn't know whether it was for sale or not. But this was left over. I'm not really sad about that either because I love Krang. As you can see right here, I got the patch on my jacket for Krang. This is another one of my art piece. Like I said, I was feeling nostalgic. So, My Pet Monster, you know. My Pet Monster was one of my favorite cartoons as a kid. So I did this one right here. This one only took me a few days to do, but I used a lot of 80s design, 80s inspired patterns and stuff, and things like that. Of course, another X-Men piece. Jean Grey from the X-Men, you know. I really like this character right here, so I had to throw her on a skateboard because, you know, like Mystique, she has dual personalities, and in her turmoil, I think she's a really strong character, and I just wanted to put her down on the skateboard. I felt she was awesome.
How many skateboards have you made so far?
I made like close to 20 or 30 of them by hand.
Let's look at the mouse.
Oh yeah, this one right here. This is from 2014. This is one of my pieces for a Halloween show in 2014. Jason, it's sold. So it's pretty much like ready to be shipped off.
And you know who bought it?
I don't know who bought this. I'm thinking from what I heard, it's probably some guy from Twitter. I have to send him a thank you letter.
Yeah, okay.
This is Watchdog. This is one of 4 pieces right here. This one didn't sell, I'm surprised, but not really, you know, because you have to get it in order. This is one of those pieces that I did that I get, you know. I really like it, you know. It's really kind of complicatingly done, which most of my art isn't known for, being angular and mechanical. So this right here is one of my favorite, more technical pieces. Okay, right now, you know, I just showed a lot of art pieces I have. A lot of people think that I just magically make these happen, but it doesn't happen that way. A lot of hard work and time going into these pieces. These are portfolios I've had from the past 15 years of projects that I thought was awesome and they just kind of fell apart. You know, these are just years.
Could you pull something out and show it? I understand they're not completed. But
This one is actually me from, what year is this? From '07. I got a lot better. I'm kind of embarrassed by this because it's like,
well, everybody's got to start someplace.
yeah, this is like me, like super young. You know, I thought I had skills then, but I look at it and it's kind of cringeworthy. Even though it's like a lot of things on there, it's a lot of things not good on there. Example, another art piece that I thought was going to be awesome that did not go anywhere. Everybody likes it, but I look at it and it doesn't really reverberate with me. It seemed to be a good idea, but you know.
Well, it shows how versatile you are.
Yeah, it's like everybody would like it, but me on the other end, I do not like it. You know, but that's what life is about. It's about going to the next level.